Hello, and welcome back to Porcupine Chronicles, a channel where we explore the stories that shape our understanding of life itself. We've journeyed through tales of redemption and wrestled with the shadows of guilt. But tonight, we turn to a different kind of story. We're going to meet a man who finds his peace not in some distant heaven, but in the profoundly simple, earthly act of pushing a stone. This is the strange and beautiful serenity of Albert Camus, and his timeless meditation on meaning, the myth of Sisyphus. Camus starts his essay with a question that has haunted humanity for millennia, a question older than philosophy itself. Why should we continue to live when life seems to offer no ultimate, preordained meaning? He doesn't shy away from this discomfort. In fact, he gives it a name, the absurd. Imagine standing on a cliff edge, shouting questions into a vast, silent canyon. That's the human condition. On one side, there's our deep, unshakable hunger for reason, for purpose, for a grand cosmic explanation. On the other side, there's the universe, which meets our questions with a profound and indifferent silence. This clash, this tension between our need for meaning and the world's refusal to provide it, is what Camus calls the absurd. To be human is to be a creature that searches for a script, a purpose written into the stars. But to exist in this universe is to realize there is no script written for us. But here is the crucial part. Camus insists that the absurd is not a reason for despair. It's not the end of the conversation. It is the very starting point of our freedom. So if we're living in this absurd reality, what do we do? How do we cope with this fundamental disconnect? Camus is very clear. We cannot escape it. He examines the common escape routes people take. Some turn to religion, making a leap of faith to believe in a higher power that gives life meaning. Camus respects this, but for him, it's a way of dodging the problem, not solving it. Others try to simply deny the absurd, living their lives in a kind of willful ignorance, pretending the problem doesn't exist. This too is a dead end. And then there's the most final escape, ending one's own story. Camus considers this the only truly serious philosophical problem, but he ultimately rejects it as a form of surrender. Instead of running, denying, or surrendering, Camus proposes a third way, rebellion. We must face the absurd, fully awake, with our eyes wide open. To illustrate this, he introduces us to his ultimate hero, Sisyphus. You probably know the story. As punishment from the gods, Sisyphus is condemned for all eternity to roll a massive boulder up a steep hill. He strains, he sweats, he pushes with every fiber of his being, and just as he reaches the summit, the rock inevitably tumbles back down to the bottom. He then has to walk back down, only to begin the same futile task all over again. It is the definition of endless, pointless labor, a vision of hell. And yet, in the face of this eternal punishment, Camus delivers one of the most powerful and provocative lines in all of philosophy. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Happy? How could anyone be happy in such a condition? That's the entire key to Camus' thought. What could this happiness possibly mean? It's not the giddy, fleeting happiness of a momentary pleasure. It's something deeper, more resilient. It is the joy of consciousness. Sisyphus is happy because he is fully aware of his fate. He knows the rock will roll down. He knows his labor is, by any external measure, pointless. There is no illusion. The gods think they have punished him, but Sisyphus turns their punishment into his triumph. The moment he accepts his fate, he becomes its master. He is no longer just a victim of the gods. He is the man who pushes the rock. The mountain becomes his kingdom. The rock, his personal object. The struggle itself becomes his task, his proof of being alive, his reason for being. This is the rebellion Camus speaks of. It's not about shouting curses at the sky or trying to break the chains. It's about looking your fate directly in the eye and smiling. To live without appealing to a higher power, without hoping for a different reality, and still find the strength and even the beauty in your struggle that, for Camus, is the purest victory a human being can possibly achieve. Sisyphus is happy during that brief moment when he walks back down the mountain. In that pause, he is conscious, he is free, and he is ready to take up his burden again, not as a punishment, but as his own. Now you might be thinking, this is a fascinating myth from ancient Greece, but what does it have to do with me? With us, here and now? Camus' point is that this myth is not ancient at all. It is our story. Each of us is Sisyphus. Each morning alarm that pulls us from sleep, each commute to a job we've done 1,000 times, each repetition of effort in our relationships, our work, our passions, each return to a task we thought we had finally finished. These are our modern boulders. We push them every single day. We clean the house, only for it to get messy again. We answer emails, only to find our inbox full the next morning. We work towards a goal, and upon reaching it, find a new, even steeper hill to climb. But unlike Sisyphus in the original myth, we have a choice. We can see these tasks as meaningless burdens, as a cosmic joke played on us, or we can find a kind of grace in them. We can choose to infuse them with our own meaning. The act of pushing, of caring about the quality of our work, of creating moments of connection, of making art. This is how we transform the absurd into something beautiful. Our meaning doesn't come from the universe. It comes from our conscious choice to engage with it, to rebel against its silence by creating our own song. So in the end, the myth of Sisyphus is not a book of despair. Far from it. It's a profound book of awakening. It's a call to live with lucidity and passion. Camus' great gift is to show us that the absence of a prepackaged, cosmic meaning does not erase the value of our lives. In fact, it enhances it. If the universe is silent, then our actions, our laughter, our kindness, our work, they become the only voice, the only music there is, and that makes them infinitely precious. To live without illusion is not to live without joy. It is to understand deeply and truly that even when the rock rolls back down the hill, the climb itself, the struggle, the effort, the conscious act of living is worth everything. The meaning of life is whatever you're doing right now that prevents you from ending it. And in that simple, powerful truth, we can all, like Sisyphus, find our own reasons to be happy. Thank you for joining me on this climb. Until next time, be well. And if you found meaning in our discussion today, consider subscribing and joining the Porcupine Chronicles community. We have many more hills to climb together.